Bubble sort is one of the simplest, if not the simplest sorting algorithm out there. It is a great one to learn on to be able to teach the sorting algorithms and how they work. The time complexity of the bubble sort is big O of n squared for the worst case. And that just means that with n being the number of entries in your list that you want to sort, as n becomes larger and larger, it takes exponentially more time to sort. This just means that bubble sort is useful on very small data structures, but large data structures it's really inefficient on. Bubble sort is also really good for fixing small errors in a really large list, being able to sometimes take or be close to taking linear time to fix a couple little errors. The space complexity is big O of 1 or constant space, which means that it doesn't require any other data structures other than the initial list that you're given. So the way the bubble sort works is you first create a bubble around the first two numbers. Then you are going to swap the numbers in the bubble if needed. Third, you're going to move the bubble over 1. The fourth step is to repeat steps 2 and 3 over and over and over again until the bubble reaches the end of the list. And for the final step, you need to repeat steps 1 through 4 over and over and over again, going through the list several times, several passes, until on the final pass you no longer make any swaps. The array will then be sorted. Alright, so let's go ahead and go over an example. This is going to be our unsorted list that we want to sort using bubble sort. So the first thing we do is go ahead and create a bubble around the first two numbers, the 7 and the 9. We will then swap the numbers if needed. The 7 and the 9 are already in sorted order, with the 7, the first number, being the lowest, and the second number, the 9, being the highest. So this would give us the same order array at the moment. Now for step 3, we need to move the bubble over 1. So now the bubble is over on 9 and 8. We do now need to actually swap because the 9 is greater than the 8, and the 9 should be on the right side, and the 8 should be on the left side. So this gives us 7, 8, 9, 1, 3, 2. We then must move the bubble again. We have to swap these, so that gives us 7, 8, 1, 9, 3, 2. We need to move the bubble over again. Now we get the bubble around the 9 and the 3. We need to swap another time. And this gives us 7, 8, 1, 3, 9, 2. We need to move the bubble one more time. And we need to swap the numbers, which gives us 7, 8, 1, 3, 2, 9. The bubble has now reached the end. This has been one full pass through the list. As you may have noticed, what this pass did was effectively go through, take the highest number, which was the 9, and slowly move it all the way to the end of the array. Now let's go ahead and make another pass, bringing the bubble back to the front on the 7 and the 8. This is already in sorted order. We don't need to swap them. So we go ahead and move the bubble over 1. We now have a 7 and 8. We must swap the numbers. Moving the bubble over, 8 and 3. We now have to swap the numbers. Moving the bubble over, it's 8 and 2. We must swap the numbers. Move the bubble over one more, and we're now at the end. However, 8 and 9 do not need to swap, so now we're done with pass number 2. And again, it took the next highest number, which in this case is the 8, and dragged it along all the way towards the end. Now we're on pass number 3. Again, starting the bubble with the first two numbers and swapping if need be, which we do. So go ahead and swap the 1 and the 7 and move the bubble over for a 7 and a 3. We must now swap again and move the bubble over. We need to swap the 7 and the 2 and move the bubble over. We don't need to swap, so we move the bubble over again, and the bubble will now hit the end, signifying the end of pass 3, having it drag the 7 along from the front all the way to its position. As you might be able to tell, the more passes we go through, the quicker and quicker each pass becomes, because we've slowly taken the highest number and shoved it towards the end, the next highest number and shoved it towards the end, the next highest number and shoved it towards the end. So the unsorted array at this point is now only 3 numbers. All right, now on to pass 4, creating a bubble on 1 and 3. We don't need to swap. Move the bubble over. 3 and 2, we need to swap. So 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Move the bubble over. Don't need to swap. Move the bubble over. Don't need to swap. And move the bubble over. Don't need to swap. We have now hit the end of pass 4. We can visually see that the list has now sorted. However, the algorithm doesn't know that yet. The algorithm can't just look at the array and assume that it's sorted. It has to go through and check that it's been sorted. So we have to go through one final pass. Okay, for pass 5, we go ahead and create the same bubble over 1 and 2. We don't need to swap. Bubble over 2 and 3, we don't need to swap. Bubble over 3 and 7, we don't need to swap. Bubble over 7 and 8, we don't need to swap. And bubble over 8 and 9, we do not need to swap. So now, since we've finally repeated steps 1 through 4, which steps 1 through 4 is one pass, and we keep doing those passes until no swaps occur. So now that no swaps occur, the algorithm can be sure that the array or the list has now been sorted. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell for more videos. Leave a like if you have learned something new, and comment down below what you would like to learn next.